So we wanted to do something more creative, and Jeremy and I worked together on this spicy Indian snack mix.
Mm-hmm. So this, I've found so many different names, so if someone does know the name, please correct me. One of the ones we found was Chivda. They're these really nice crispy, like Chrissy said, snack mixes with puffed rice and usually lentils and beans and peas and nuts, and they're fantastic. Usually the store-bought ones are loaded with sodium, though, and they usually have a little bit more oil than I think you probably need. So we're going to show you how to make a really, really nice crisp one from scratch. And again, you can use whatever ingredients you have. We've chose almonds, we have some cashews, we have some puffed rice and puffed millet, which you can find in your cereal aisles. They come in like huge bags for like a couple bucks. Not all cereal aisles, most cereal aisles. So I'll show you what the bag looks like.
We'll
and then
send
that way
you some
you guys
lists.
can.
Yeah, usually your grocery store will have its natural section, or
So that's puffed
sometimes it's
millet.
even, the bottom of the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see.
And it's literally just millet and rice that's been under pressure and puffed.
So that puffiness fills up more room in your stomach, but for less calories. So if you're trying to keep yourself feeling full for longer, this is a great way to go. Kind of like the way that your popcorn, a serving of popcorn would be 2 cups compared to if you wanted to actually eat corn, it would be half a cup. So you get more bang for your buck.
More bang for your buck. Okay, so we have a few different options there. Chickpeas, which are cooked. You can use, if to resort to the canned ones, again, just look for the BPA can, BPA-free can, and sodium-free. You can find some of those ones as well. I have some red lentils, again, which take about 2-3 minutes to cook. Really, really simple. And we're going to add a few of these other ingredients. Use a bigger bowl. This is not a great example. Let me see if I have a bigger bowl, actually.
And this is a great way to get more legumes or pulses into your diet. And it's a recommendation for cancer prevention and for cancer survivors to focus on more vegetarian choices. So trying to increase, nuts and seeds and legumes is very important. It's also recommended by a lot of government health agencies like the American Cancer Society, the Canadian Cancer Society, as well as the diabetes and heart disease groups, that we try to eat at least 3 cups of legumes per week. So whether it's chickpeas, lentils, whatever beans you enjoy, it's important to incorporate these into your diet. So we think it may be related to the fiber content. It may be related to the fact that when we eat these foods, we're replacing or displacing some of the red meat and some of the other protein sources that we would be having that aren't as good for us in large quantities. So these are definitely a healthy thing to include.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to spice these up. We're going to flavor them. We're going to start off with some orange. So we're going to use the zest from the orange and add a little bit of that. And we always say try to save, you're not going to zest every orange or lemon that you eat, but if you can, it freezes very well. So you can stick the zest in the freezer, and then anytime you bake or make something like this, you can use that. So a little bit of the zest.
We recommend using the zest for people that have a sore mouth because it doesn't contain that acidity that the juice would. So you can definitely get the same lovely citrus flavor without that burning sensation that you may get.
So a little bit of the juice. We're going to add a little bit of grapeseed oil. Just because it's neutral, doesn't really have a flavor, and it has a higher smoking point, even though we're using a pretty gentle heat.
So if you wanted to, you could use an olive oil in this one?
I wouldn't use like an extra virgin olive oil. You can use kind of like your cheaper olive oils. They tend to usually have a higher smoking point because the quality of the olive oil isn't as great. An extra virgin olive oil, you would kind of destroy that fruitiness and the great flavor that you pay a little bit more for. So you can use this cheaper olive oil, grapeseed oil will work. That's it. Just we're going to mix that up a little bit, and then we're going to add a little bit of curry powder. And this is a mixture of so many amazing flavors and spices. So you can make your own from scratch. Some fenugreek, cumin, fennel seed. Try to, if you can, make them from whole spices, and then we use a coffee grinder and grind them all together until we achieve our own mix.
You get the best taste and the best nutrition that way if you grind up the whole spice. Because as soon as you get those little jars and it sits in your cupboard for 2 years, it's probably not going to taste as good or have those cancer-fighting chemicals that we're looking for.
And that's it. So stir it up. Now, if you have a lot like this, try to get one of the big baking sheets. I've used them all, but get one of the big baking sheets and spread it out as even as possible. You try not to pile it on top of each other because you want, the nuts will kind of crisp up and the millet will crisp up, but the chickpeas and the lentils, you want to get that moisture out of it. So you don't want to pile it on top of each other. So this isn't the greatest example, but
you don't want a mushy chickpea.
Yeah.
For this recipe.
You're going to lay it out on your baking sheet lined with parchment and bake it for about 20 minutes, 375, and it comes out like this.
Bless you. Some beautiful yellow color from the turmeric. And we did a study. We did a class all about spices, and turmeric's one that comes up again and again because of the curcumin, which there's a lot of research going on looking at the cancer-preventing effects of this active component.
And that's it. It's really, really crispy. The lentils, the red lentils are a really nice treat. They crisp up really, really well. The chickpeas as well. And it's a different take on your traditional, trail mix. And at this point, if you wanted to add some dried fruit, some dried cranberries, raisins, do it now. You don't want to stick them in the oven.
You don't want those getting all dried out.
Yeah. When you bite on them after, they'll get stuck in your teeth, and it's not pleasant. So that's it.
Excellent snack. A great way to get soluble and insoluble fiber on the go.